Oh, hey. Today on Fourth and a Mile, we got Des Bryant being cut, a new rule in college football, and tons of suspensions in Major League Baseball. Stay tuned. Welcome in, everybody, to Fourth and a Mile, presented by Planet Adam. I am your host, the Pharaoh of Planet Adam, or God King, if you will. I am Adam Fernandez. We have a lot to discuss since we went to the new schedule of 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. A lot of stuff has happened since I got with you guys last on Wednesday. So, yeah, there's a lot to discuss. But before we do that, guys, don't forget to go over to bandcamp.com. Check out A Bloody Chasm featuring my friends Jocelyn Gonzalez and Matt Hutton. Check out bandcamp.com. Check out A Bloody Chasm. Download the music. They have guaranteed me that they will not, under any circumstances, eat your face so long as you download the music. If you don't, then it's, fair game for everybody. Also, let's not forget, too, that we are still doing our giveaway of a free sports bracelet. I'm going to go through some of these here for you guys. These sports bracelets from Gina's Jewelry Treasure, or Gina Jewelry Treasures. All you got to do is like this episode, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what team you want a bracelet of. It can be a high school, it can be football, baseball, college, whatever kind of team you guys want. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, like the episode, and tell me down below what team you want a bracelet of, and you will be entered to win that bracelet. Go check out Gina Jewelry Treasures for everything else that she has on there. She's got a lot of stuff on there. It's not just those team bracelets. I just think those team bracelets are really cool, and they very much coincide with what I'm doing here, which is obviously sports. So make sure you do all that, guys, and then you'll be entered in to win to win a bracelet. It takes 5 seconds, guys. 5 seconds is all I'm asking. Just go over to the channel, subscribe, like the video, and then comment down below. Just tell me what team you want. That's it. The more times you do it, the more times you comment, the more times your name gets entered into the drawing. So, all right. So let's get underway with some of the sports news of the day. And like I said, there's a lot going on. Right now, I told you guys on Wednesday about a kerfuffle between the Rockies and the Padres that happened earlier the day, in which Nolan Arenado, basically the face of the franchise for the Rockies, charged the mound, and Luis Perdomo just threw his glove at him, and then the fracas began. It began because Luis Perdomo threw at Arenado. It went behind him, but it was close enough to him where you could tell it was obviously intentional to throw at Arenado. Especially being that Arenado is, like I said, the face of the franchise, the best player on the team. Charlie Blackmon would probably be a close number 2, but Arenado is the guy there in Colorado. So a fracas broke out, and a bunch of guys ended up getting tossed out of the game, including Arenado and Perdomo. But the suspensions came down today. Nolan Arenado is going to be doing a 5-game suspension. Fellow Rocky teammate Gerardo Parra will be doing a 4-game suspension. For the Padres, Luis Perdomo, the pitcher, will be doing 5, and then relief pitcher Brian Bowman will be doing 1 game. Arenado and Perdomo have both appealed, so as of right now, they're still available to play. The thing with Perdomo is he'll miss 1 start, basically. He's a starting pitcher, so if he's missing 5 games, then guess what? That's just 1 game, really, for him. Anyways, they're both appealing, so they will still be made available, and until MLB decides on the final decision of their appeals, they will be in the lineups for their respective teams. The final decision should probably come down as early as tomorrow, I would think. The initial suspensions were just announced maybe 2 hours ago, if even that. So they're going to have to go back and take another look at it and decide if the suspensions still hold weight. I think they do. I think those are all fair, especially considering the other game in which there were suspensions for, which was also on Wednesday. This one was Wednesday night, so this was after I had already done the show. Red Sox and Yankees. Is there a better rivalry in sports than Red Sox Yankees? I mean, if you watch the movie Green Shoe Hooligans, which I'm a huge fan of because I'm a big West Ham fan, he will tell you, or Charlie Hunnam's character Pete will tell you in there that when Elijah Woods asks him about the rivalry, and Elijah Woods says, so it's kind of like the Red Sox and Yankees, and then Charlie Hunnam says, more like the Israelis and Palestinians. So that might be a bigger rivalry than Yankees-Red Sox, but Yankees-Red Sox is pretty damn close. Pretty damn close. So, anyways, so they met over the week, 3-game series in Boston. The second game of the series, I can't remember what inning it was. It was like the 4th or 5th inning. Tyler Austin, or rather, I take that back. It was Tyler Austin from the Yankees. Slid into second base. He was playing DH. Slid into second base and took a hard slide at Yankee shortstop Brock Holt. You could see his cleats were up. He looked like he was purposefully taking out Holt. And so that caused a little bit of a scrum. The benches cleared, but no punches were thrown. Austin's next at bat was in the 7th inning. Joe Kelly, the reliever for the Red Sox, was on the mound and threw a 95-mile-an-hour fastball that plunked him in the back, and that led to it. Unlike Luis Perdomo, Kelly was like, come on, bring it on. You could actually see that if you watch the video. You will actually see him say, come on. And so that fight ensued, and that cleared the benches, and a bunch of people were involved in that one. Fortunately for both the Red Sox and Yankees, though, there's a lot of people getting fined, like Red Sox manager Alex Cora, Yankees third base coach Phil Nevin. They're all getting fined, but there were 2 suspensions handed out yesterday, and they're both also being appealed. Joe Kelly was suspended for 6 games. Tyler Austin suspended for 5 games. Again, those are being appealed, so they're both available to use until the appeals process completes. But my guess is that they'll still be doing the 6 games and 5 games. But with all this going on, I was watching MLB Network a little bit ago. I don't even know who this guy was sitting on the MLB Tonight set. And he was talking about how they need to do what they can to limit these scrums in baseball, that they need to make sure that pitchers know that they're not allowed to hit batters. They already know they're not allowed to hit batters with the ball. But here's the thing. Baseball has always been, along with hockey, those are the only two major sports that I can actually say that you actually see it, where they govern themselves, where they police themselves, I guess, is the best way to put it. Not so much govern, where they police themselves. All the time. If like this, Tyler Austin takes a hard slide and takes out a shortstop, guess what? Next time he's up, that pitcher is going to plunk him. That's how you police yourself. It's like, you want to fuck with us, we're going to fuck with you back. That's how you do it. That's how it's been since the beginning of the game. You plunk the guy that did something to your team. If it's a pitcher that's just going off all rogue and just plunking people just for the hell of it, well then guess what? Your pitcher goes in there and he starts plunking people. He starts plunking guys like Nolan Arenado. That's the way you police things. That's the way you get the other team to stop their bullshit, is by starting bullshit of your own. That's the way baseball has always been. So no, they know not to throw it at the hitter's head. If a hitter gets hit in the head, it's purely by accident. We all know that. They know not to do that. They know that's the unwritten rule, and you know what? They abide by the unwritten rules. But the other unwritten rule is, if you fuck with my team, you're gonna get plunked. That's how you do it. That's how you settle it. So no, you don't need to add on to this anymore. He was suggesting that anytime a hitter gets hit by a pitch, the pitcher should be suspended for a game, even if it's done by accident. That's utterly stupid. And the Cardinals game is about to start. I was trying to get this started before the Cardinals game started, but no, I'm way late, way behind. So no, you do not. I keep saying this. People trying to change the game of baseball, leave it the hell alone, man. Leave it the hell alone. It's fine. It's been this way for 100 and almost 150 years. Leave it alone. Yes, this new generation of kids that are more caught up in their cell phones and their iPads have a short attention span. Never mind the fact that that's just making them to be an extremely dumb generation. But, yes, they have a short attention span. Guess what? They're not going to like baseball. I understand that. But they're also not going to like football. They might like basketball, because basketball is just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was like a woman created that sport. That's just a joke there, ladies. Anyways, so they might like that. But baseball, leave it alone. People that like baseball will always like baseball. Kids who grow up in a family that likes baseball, guess what? They're going to love baseball too. It's just how it is. Baseball is strong as it's been in a long time. Leave it alone. Don't mess with it anymore. Don't try to hurry the game. Don't try to make it safer. There's nothing wrong with the safety of baseball. Yes, it's possible that a ball might get loose and hit someone in the head. That's why they're wearing helmets now. You know, Tony C got plunked in the eye, ruined his career. Back in 1919, I can't remember the guy's name, played for the Indians, got plunked in the head by a Yankees pitcher. At the time, I think they were still called the Highlanders. And yeah, it killed him. I can't say that happens. I don't mean it like that. That was a fluke. It hasn't happened since, and it won't ever happen again. And Dexter Fowler just flew out. Great way to start, Dexter. 1-0, and you fly out on the second pitch. So, no. Leave it alone. Let them continue to police themselves. Let these scrums happen. Guess what? That's an exciting part of the game. People love it. I love it. Granted, yes, when it's my guys, and I know one of them is going to get suspended, that sucks. But in the end, guess what? It was worth it. Plain and simple. So let's go on to some football news, and we'll start with the big sports news of the day, in my opinion. I think pretty much a lot of people's opinions. Dez Bryant, formerly now of the Dallas Cowboys, was cut today by Jerry Jones himself. He went into a meeting with Jerry Jones and other upper echelon management of the Dallas Cowboys, and he was advised that he was being cut. According to Bryant, it was a short meeting, and so they pretty much had already established that they were going to cut him. My guess is they pretty much asked him if he would be willing to restructure his contract. He said no, and so in order to not take the cap hit, they went ahead and just decided to go ahead and cut him. And so the thing with Dez Bryant, I mean, it's no doubt that he was a great wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys. From 2012 to 2014, the guy produced 41 touchdowns, including a leading 16 in 2014, while averaging in those first 4 years, or first 3 years, averaging 1,312 yards per season, obviously. But in these last 3 seasons, he has been injury plagued, and it's caused him to miss a total of 10 games. All of that causing his production to dwindle drastically to where he was averaging just 678 yards a season and totaling just 17 touchdowns throughout all 3 of those years. The total was only 17. So the Cowboys have signed some receivers during the offseason. My guess is their plan is to, with their first draft pick up a wide receiver. There's several great ones out there in the draft. So they just didn't feel that the cap hit would be beneficial to him at all, considering that he really hasn't played much over the past 3 years, and they just feel that they can get better production out of other receivers. So Bryant, after he was cut, went to Twitter to state, and I quote, "This wasn't our Cowboy Nation. This wasn't my decision. I will always love y'all." And then later on, he went back to Twitter to say, "I'll be seeing y'all twice a year." Now, to me, that sounds like he's already been possibly approached by some other teams in the NFC East, because if he's going to see them twice a year, he's going to be playing in the NFC East. And so that would lead me to wonder who exactly it would be. My best guess would be the Redskins. I mean, I think honestly they have of the other 3 teams in the NFC East, I think they have the biggest need for a wide receiver. Although they have a pretty decent receiving core themselves. But with Alex Smith coming in, Dez Bryant right there could be an extremely dangerous attack. Yes, his numbers have dwindled off in the past 3 years, but you cannot deny that if he can get back up to the level that he was playing at his first 3 years, that he is deadly. He is definitely deadly in the red zone, as big as he is. He's as good a receiver in the red zone as there is. I think it would be a perfect move for the Redskins to pick him up if that's who he's talking about there. So I would like to see him in a Redskins uniform personally. I know I'm here in San Antonio, and I know a lot of the people that will be watching this are from San Antonio as well, so y'all are all Cowboy fans. So you might not like hearing that, but the fact of the matter is that that's actually a good place for him to go. And I think they can afford him. And I think he'd be very successful there, being receiving passes from Alex Smith, who the Redskins just picked up from the Chiefs. All right, so another deal in the NFL, and this one is probably my favorite news story of the day, just because of the person that it involves. I'm sure you guys recognize this incident. That is the infamous butt fumble by Mark Sanchez, who ran into his own lineman's butt and then got tackled by his butt and fumbled the ball on the way down. That is called the butt fumble. Everyone remembers that play as the butt fumble. Well, today the NFL has announced that Mark Sanchez, the quarterback there that committed the butt fumble, has been suspended for 4 games for violation of the league's PED rules. In an Instagram statement, Sanchez unequivocally denies ever knowingly using a PED. He states that he was tested 30 days prior and 12 days after the test in question, and both bracketing tests came out negative. So he basically is saying that it was accidentally ingested, sort of the same way as Canelo Alvarez, only I think this one is actually more likely to be accidental because I don't believe Canelo Alvarez's incident was accidental at all. I honestly just think that he was always kind of or not always, but for the formerly upcoming match against Triple G, he was just scared of not being able to beat Triple G, so he wanted to take some PEDs, and it's also possible that he had also taken some in the past as well. So, great pitch, Luke. Hits Billy Hamilton on the first at bat, and now Billy Hamilton's on, and there's nobody in baseball faster than Billy Hamilton. So, anyways, as of right now, Mark Sanchez is a free agent. He played last year with the Bears. He was pretty much buried underneath Mitch Trubisky and Mike Glennon. So he's a free agent this year. It's likely that he would have been, or that he's going to be picked up anyways to be a third-string quarterback with some other team. He's never going to be a starter again. The last time he took a regular season snap was in 2015. I don't see him taking another regular season snap unless it's a situation like what happened with the Raiders a couple of years ago. But as it is, any team that signs him knows that they're going to be without him for the first 4 games of the year, which isn't saying a whole lot because he wouldn't probably see any action in the first 4 games anyways. So, yeah. Mark Sanchez, infamous for the butt fumble, possibly injected something in his butt to cause him to be suspended by the NFL for violation of league rules on PEDs. So that's just a good story. I thought that was kind of a funny one there. Now, college football. There is a new kickoff rule in college football. It just came down today. Personally, I'm not a fan of it. The new kickoff rule states that a fair catch can be called on a kickoff that goes between the end zone and the 25-yard line. And then if the fair catch is called, it would be taken out to the 25-yard line, so no need for a return. Basically, it's the same as a touchback. So, I do not like this. I understand player safety. I'm not saying that. I think everyone has had it drilled in their heads 150 fucking times over the past couple of years about player safety and how we all need to be concerned about player safety and da-da-da-da. But what you're essentially doing here is, yes, you are protecting the players on kick returns. You know what? Honestly, they're playing football. They know the possible consequences of it. You're taking away one of the most exciting plays in football. The kick return. One of the most exciting plays in football. What you're going to see now is limited kickoff return for touchdowns. Yes, there's some big hits that happen on kickoffs. One of the most famous of all time is the Cotton Bowl, I think 91 Cotton Bowl, Miami versus Texas. Very first kickoff of the game. The Miami player says, I can't remember who it was, says that I'm going to knock the guy out. And on that kickoff, the returner grabs it, starts running, and he gets knocked out by that guy. And I mean knocked out cold. He was unconscious and never played the rest of the game. here's the thing. Again, these players know what they're getting themselves into. They do. They know the dangers of playing football. They do. If they didn't know it 10 years ago, they sure as shit know it now. Because guess what? Like I said, everyone's had it drilled in their fucking skull 150 times that, yes, you can get concussions from playing this game. So what we're essentially going to is start to where it's going to almost be like two-hand tag football. I'm tired of seeing... This is why the NFL is such a shit show. It's because you don't allow defenders to hit anybody. And thus, you get these extraordinarily high-scoring games in the NFL because defenses can't play defense. They're not allowed to play defense. They're not allowed to hit. They're not allowed to get hyped up by getting a big hit. It's not allowed. And now you're doing this to college football, which college football to me was always the more passionate of the two, between college and NFL, was always a more passionate game. And you're just taking away some of the passion. I remember a Miami versus North Carolina game when Butch Davis was coaching North Carolina. And, God, I can't remember what year it was. It was like 2006, 2007, somewhere in there. And it was a kickoff, and Miami was returning the kickoff. And my God, the Hurricane players just laid out some of the North Carolina blockers, or tacklers. Just laid them out, blocking for the return man. It was one of the most beautiful kick returns I have ever seen in my entire life. But now, you're not going to see that. Because we're too scared that these kids will get hurt, even though they're playing a violent game, and they know it, and it's been drilled in their heads 150 fucking times. We're going to go ahead and take away some of the excitement. What's next? Like I said, two-hand touch. We're not allowed to tackle anymore. It's getting ridiculous. This is not at all what football was supposed to be. Football is supposed to be a hard-nosed sport. It's supposed to be a violent sport. I mean, shit. Are we going to have to start protecting boxers too, to where nowadays you can only start hitting people in the body? I mean, what the fuck is that? It's getting ridiculous. It's getting to where it's no longer entertaining to watch these sports. And I am not the only one that thinks that. There are thousands, maybe millions of people that agree with me. Granted, you're not going to see them on this show because, frankly, I don't have anybody watching. But they're out there. We all know that this has become a pussy sport, football in general. And stuff like this is just making it that much more pussy. Yes, we're out to protect the players. I get that. Why? They know what they're getting into. They know the possible consequences of playing this game. Why are you ripping off the fan from watching something exciting? You're going to turn us all away to watch something else more exciting, like maybe Dancing with the Stars. And it's like you guys don't even care. So that's my take on that one. Real fast, we're going to go through the standings in baseball. Granted, this was before any of the night's games started. This does include the day games. I think there's only one, though. I think it was the Braves and Cubs. Braves won that one 4-0, sweeping the Cubs. The Cubs have been off to a very slow start, considering how good they were supposed to be. But let's go into it real fast. In the NL East, you got the Mets leading the division, possibly the hottest team in baseball. Although right now, they are really without a catcher. Trevor Plawecki is now going to be essentially the starter, and he's been the starter pretty much because Travis d'Arnaud has been out with elbow inflammation. It turns out he tore his UCL, and now he's going to go through Tommy John surgery. So Travis d'Arnaud is out for the rest of the year. So Plawecki will essentially be the starter. However, there is talks that the Mets have been in conversations with the Marlins about picking up JT Realmuto, which I think would be a great pickup for the Mets. It would be another just kicking the balls to Marlins fans because Realmuto is probably right now the face of the team for the Marlins, just simply because they don't have anybody else. He's a really good catcher, though, so that wouldn't be a bad pickup for the Mets at all. He's a free agent after this year, so you don't have to worry about, after that, about a battle between Realmuto and d'Arnaud when d'Arnaud comes back. But I think that would be a good pickup for them. However, though, with Plawecki behind the plate, and the other guy's name was Nito, who's right now the emergency catcher, who's playing, should be playing right now. The Mets have still gotten off to a 10-1 start. Their only loss coming to the Cardinals in the first series of the season. The Mets have just been on fire, and they are looking really good. And I said when I was giving my predictions, when I gave my predictions for the NL East, I actually had the Nats blowing everybody out. But I said the Mets would be second, but I didn't expect them to be that close. And then when they re-signed Jay Bruce and then signed Frazier, I said that the Mets might actually be really good this year, and so far they've been really damn good, a lot better than I expected them to be. And Marcell Ozuna is coming up in the top of the second with nobody out. Anyways, so yeah, the Mets are in first at 10-1. Braves in second at 8-5. Phils at 6-5 in third. The Nationals, who I was not expecting this slow of a start, are 6-7 to start the year and in fourth place. And in last place in the NL East right now, you have the Marlins at 3-9. In the Central, you have the Pirates leading the division. Surprisingly, shockingly, just considering that they traded away their two best players, Garrett Cole and Andrew McCutchen, during the offseason. But the Pirates are right now in first place at 9-3. I don't expect them to be there that long. I think that they're about to come back down to earth. But right now they are 9-3 and in first place. The Brewers are 7-6 in second. The Cubs and the Cardinals are both tied for third place at 6-7. Cardinals are playing right now, so if they win, they'll shoot above the Cubs. If they lose, they'll go down below the Cubs. And the Reds, who the Cardinals are playing right now, are in last place at 2-10. The Reds got clobbered last night by the Cardinals. It was just it was an offensive outpouring like I've never seen from the Cardinals. Well, I can't say never, but at least since 2 years ago. So yeah, right now the Reds are in last place, 2-10. Doesn't look like they're gonna come out of it anytime soon, but stranger things have happened in baseball, right? And in the West, the Diamondbacks are leading the division 9-3. The Rockies at 7-7 are in second. The Giants, even without their with taking the kick in the balls of the pitchers, are sitting in third place at 6-6, with the Dodgers, a team that everyone, including myself, expected to win the division, in fourth place at 4-7, and at 4-10, the Padres are sitting in dead last. Let's move over to the American League. Right now, you have the Red Sox 10-2. Is probably about as good looking of a team as the Mets. They lost their most recent game Wednesday night, the game where they had the brawl. They lost that game to the Yankees, but they are sitting at 10-2 and in first place. The Blue Jays, surprisingly, are sitting in second place at 8-5. I expect that to change drastically starting now. Josh Donaldson was placed on the 10-day DL. He's their best hitter. Without him, you got to kind of wonder where the offense is going to come from. But right now they're sitting at 8-5 and in second place. The Yankees are sitting at 6-7 in third place. 6-7. This is a team that I honestly thought was capable of winning 90-95, and they still are. There's still plenty of baseball to be played, guys. So these standings right now aren't very indicative of what's of what the end of the season is gonna look like. But I expected the Yankees to get off to a faster start with Stanton and there's a base hit for Ozuna with Stanton and Judge, not to mention Sanchez and Gregorius. But right now they're 6-7 and they're sitting in third. The Orioles 5-8 are in fourth, and in last place, of course, is the Rays at 3-9. The Rays are one of the teams that blew up their club in order to go ahead and rebuild. And let's go over to the Central, where right now the Twins are sitting at 7-4 and are in first place, barely over the Indians at 8-5. The White Sox at 4-8, the Tigers at 4-8 are both in third place, and the Royals at 3-8 are sitting in last place in that division. The Royals just are not the same team that they were a couple years ago, and oh no, that was Jose Martinez that got the base hit, and then Jose Martinez got thrown out trying to steal second. Good job, guys. Let's let Jose Martinez steal. He sucks. He's been lucky. He comes up with some hits, luckily, but all in all, he sucks. Anyway, so let's move on to the West. In the West, right now, it's a pretty close race between the Angels and the Astros. Right now, the Angels are sitting at 11-3 in first place. Shohei Ohtani has been already mentioned as a MVP candidate, even though they're only 14 games into the season. So they still have 148-ish games. That's just me doing some quick math off the top of my head to go. But yes, they're pretty much already claimed that Shohei Ohtani is the MVP of the league. But the Angels are sitting at 11-3. This is the best they've looked in a long time. The Astros at 9-4 are in second. Then you got the Mariners at 6-4 in third. The A's at 5-8 in fourth. And Yadier Molina with another home run. That would have been a 2-run home run had you guys not tried to steal or have Jose Martinez steal second base. But instead, it's a 1-0 game now for the Cardinals. Go Redbirds. And in last place, surprisingly, are the 4-10 Rangers. I really thought the Rangers would be a lot more competitive. Again, a long way to go, so they can very easily turn that around. But I was expecting them to be a lot more competitive at this, than what they've shown so far. So that's how baseball looks right now. That's what we have going on. If there are any comments, complaints, suggestions, anything at all, guys, feel free to go ahead and leave them down below. Again, don't forget, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below which team you want a bracelet for, and you will be entered to win the drawing for one of those bracelets. It doesn't have to be one of these teams. There are a bunch of teams that she has available. These are just some of them that that I just took off the Facebook page. Feel free to check out the Facebook page, Gina Jewelry Treasures, to see what else she has available. Other than that, guys, there's not much else to say. Remember, go over to bandcamp.com, check out A Bloody Chasm, check out my friends Jocelyn and Matt. I believe they have, if I remember right, I believe they have a Facebook page for the band as well. Go over there and like them, tell them that Adam says hi. But yeah, if there's nothing else, guys, then you guys have a great weekend. It is Friday, so have a great weekend. Be safe, no drinking and driving, and I will talk to you on Monday. And as always, besos.